All right, there were four expert witnesses at today's hearings. Bruce Dubinsky was one of them. Dubinsky has been a forensic accountant for 40 years, and he joins us tonight. Sir, thank you for coming on. I want to start by saying that the three Republican witnesses did a great job, yourself included, of playing this hearing pretty straight. You all agreed initially that we aren't at the level of evidence to actually impeach Biden yet. That's why we have an inquiry, of course. Can you tell me more about what you need to see before you would believe that Biden has clearly taken a bribe for his influence by a foreign power?
Well, I think we need to see more bank statements, more information from those bank statements. Where did the money go? And also, what was the money being paid for? I mean, that's the critical question that ball was being thrown around a little bit back and forth today. But why, for instance, was $3.5 million sent to a company and then Biden's got part of that money? What was that money for? Was that a success fee for something? That doesn't seem to me to be a fee for consulting. So we really need to get to the bottom of what the different money was being paid for. What was the substance, if anything, or was it a pay-to-play scheme?
We have loads of evidence. We have a lot. You talked about smoke and fire. We have a ton of smoke, right, that Joe Biden was involved in this. We have many comments by his own brother, by his own son. We have a very credible paid FBI informant who says that Burisma's owner paid Hunter $5 million and also paid Joe $5 million. We've got a former business partner from the Chinese deal who says Joe was in on the meetings. Joe's power is what they were selling, and Joe was in on these deals. We know the Biden family got millions despite having nothing of value to anybody except Joe's position in the government. When you look at all of that smoke, and then you hear, you hear the Democrats in Congress that were questioning you today and trying to marginalize the things you were saying. They're saying that there's no evidence at all, and it's outrageous to even have an inquiry. What's your response to that?
Well, I think that was misleading. I think, again, they didn't want to face the facts that were presented today. And I think those facts will lead to potentially other facts. And then the question is, does this lead to wrongdoing on the president's part or the then Vice President Biden? So I think those are the questions that need to be asked and get to the bottom of what was this money being paid for? What was done for it, if anything? And if there was substance to those transactions, then the Biden should come forward with that information and put it forth and put an end to this.
One major Democrat defense is that some of this activity occurred after Joe Biden left the White House, making it meaningless, is what they're trying to claim. Take a listen to how Nancy Mace, the congresswoman, described the 2017 payments by CEFC China, which is a communist China energy company. This is after Joe Biden left the White House. Take a look.
We know CEFC was working with the Biden family while Joe Biden was vice president. Hunter Biden and James Biden did not receive compensation because Joe Biden was still vice president during this time period. There is a concern it would be improper for payments to be made to Hunter Biden and James Biden by CEFC due to its close affiliation with the Chinese government. Hunter Biden and James Biden both wanted to be compensated for the assistance they had provided to CEFC's ventures. The Bidens, coincidentally, were paid over $1 million by CCP-affiliated Chinese company CEFC shortly after Joe Biden left office as vice president. Now we know why, because it was back pay.
I wanted to ask your assessment of that. I mean, it would make sense to me if I was somebody in power, I was selling access to my power, it would make sense that you would want to get paid maybe in a position in a time when you weren't in power, because that would, that would kind of cover your tracks a little bit. Do you see that as a possibility? Have you seen that before?
I have seen that before, and it's basically a deferred payment. So the question is, what was done for that payment, and now it's being deferred till after he leaves office. Was there intent to structure it that way? And if it's proven that there was intent to structure it that way, that's a problem, certainly.
You talked again, you talked a lot about where there's smoke, there's fire, your initial statement. Given the evidence that we have, if this is allowed to be investigated fully, and if we can get to these bank statements, if we can get personal bank statements, do you think we're going to have a clear answer one way or the other as to whether or not, the man who's now the president of the United States has committed some sort of a treasonous violation here?
That's a good question. I don't know. Like any investigation, you walk down the hallway, you start opening doors and looking behind it to see what's behind there. You may come up empty in door number 1, but door number 3 yields a treasure trove of information. So no one will know till the investigation is advanced to the level of getting answers. And you make a good point. That investigation has to be unimpeded. And if there's an attempt to impede that investigation, we certainly won't get the answers.
Yeah. There's been certainly has been a lot of evidence that they're trying to obstruct this thing. They don't want to let anybody see what's really going on here. Bruce Dubinsky, sir, thank you so much for being a straight shooter and joining us tonight.
Thank you.